I'm Antoinette White.
Hello, I'm Em.
And I'm a student dietitian. And I understand you're a third year medical imaging student?
Yeah, that's right.
Miss M has agreed to act as my client today. And we've already participated in a nutrition assessment over the phone. And that nutrition assessment wasn't recorded. Miss M provided information on her physical, medical, social and diet history, and this video will cover the nutrition counselling phase, and we'll focus on one food group or nutrient which has been identified as a priority from looking at your diet history. You've stated that your goal is healthy eating from the diet history we took before. And I propose to begin this session by reviewing your diet history, going over it again, identifying a priority food group for you, and then we're going to talk about its importance to your health, followed by linking it to your health-related goal that you stated that you want to get more healthier, and discuss some possible strategies about how you can achieve that. And then at the end we'll summarise what we've all agreed upon and conclude from there. Sound good, Jan?
Sounds good.
So you ready to start?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you for participating in this session today. And I would like to spend some more time with you today going over the information you provided me over the phone. Now, you stated that your goal was healthy eating, and looking at your height and weight measurements, I was able to calculate a BMI, and that BMI was 21, which falls within the healthy weight range. So you are eating foods sufficient for your needs without storing any excess as fat.
Okay.
So then if we look along there, you've had, and also another good thing is that your weight has been stable. You haven't had no ups and downs. So you've been, that eating pattern has been suiting your body's needs for quite a long time.
Okay.
Eating it, you said your goal is to eat healthily. Your diet history, the recommended servings for you would be let's start down here at the grains, 6 servings of grains, and you are currently meeting that, and that's mainly coming largely through the amount of rice that you're eating as well as those egg noodles. The next group, you're right. The next recommendation is for you to have 2 pieces of fruit a day. Currently, with that one medium banana, you're only getting 1 serve of fruit a day.
Okay.
Then the next thing we can look at, you're eating about roughly 4 serves, if I'm generous, 4 serves of vegetables a day, and your recommended requirements are 5. So you might want to think about adding a little bit more vegetables into your day to meet that recommendation. And those vegetables are mainly only coming from your lunch and your dinner. Yes. Excellent. And you're eating, from the meat and poultry group, you're eating the skinless breast and the beef, and that's roughly equates to probably 2 serves of meat, and your recommendation at your age is 2.5. So it depends on that size of, because it's all an estimation, and I was just estimating what the size of your meat is, and that 3/4 of your beef stir fry, it might have been really generous amount of beef in there that you might have eaten, or I might have underestimated it, so we're not too concerned about any half serves that we're not getting. And the same when it comes down to the vegetable serve too, because it may depend on how much vegetables are being put into that beef stir fry, because I could only estimate that like for instance if I get it from my Asian restaurant, he puts in massive amounts of vegetables and heaps it, and it's just all crammed in there, and so 3/4 is quite a significant serving. So, but looking at your diet, what does stand out a little bit is your dairy serves. And that, remember, they're the things that contain like your milks, your cheeses and your yogurts. And for a person your age, you should be meeting 2.5 serves a day. And when we look at your dairy, you're drinking a quarter cup of almond milk at morning with in your coffee, and then you're having a protein shake, and that's where I'm giving you 1 serve, considering that the protein shake is made out of cow's milk. And so you'd be getting that serve. So you're only, a borderline 1 1/4 serves.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason that this is of concern to someone around your age is because dairy is very important. It contains the best available amount of calcium for a person your age, and it's an excellent source for improving your bone health. Research has highlighted that it also has protective effects for preventing heart disease, high blood pressure, some cancers, and preventing type 2 diabetes. So hence the reason why it's not just about healthy bones and teeth, but it's also about those other protective factors that it can provide you. And at your age, you may have got to that stage where the amount of bone that you're going to have is there already, and what you want to do is maintain that bone levels, because once we hit menopause, we have a deterioration in that bone mineral density. So that's another important aspect. Okay. And I forgot to also say, the other reason why we include dairy as part of our core food groups is because it's not just the calcium that provides us, but also it provides those 10 essential nutrients that we need for healthy functioning as well. So I've got some pamphlets here that you can take home if you like, that outline the importance of dairy foods and move along here, and why, where they come, which ones constitute a dairy product, how much we need for our age. Some of these pamphlets are really good in that I highlight those 10 essential nutrients that I was referring to, because a lot of people are unaware that dairy products provide that as a good source. They're a good source of those products. Most people think they might just come from vegetables, but milk, for instance, provides a variety of other things as well as calcium. Yeah. And also, this is a good one too, because a lot of people have some ideas about why they don't want to drink or consume dairy, and this is sort of the mythbusters about it all as well. So I'll give those to you, and a little bit of information about osteoporosis. So that's not so relevant for you now, but it sort of gives you a bit of an indication of why we want to pause this video. Oh my God. Okay, let's move on from there now and talk about what we can do to improve your health. Okay. And I understand you work part-time and you're a full-time student, which creates a very busy lifestyle for you, and you add to that you exercise 4 times a week. So we don't want to do anything like too complicated. You do your own shopping and your own cooking as well, and you're meeting most of your core food groups, and it's just really just a little tweaking that we've got to do for you. And you said, I'll just check in with you again. You said previously you changed from almond milk, from cow's milk to almond milk, just for personal preferences. It wasn't because you had an intolerance or an allergy to cow's milk.
No, I just don't like the taste.
You don't like the taste of cow's milk?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's really good, because one of the first things I was going to say to you, one of the easiest ways to try and increase your calcium intake as well as meet your dairy product serves is to add just 1 glass of milk, because that 1 glass of milk equates to 1/3 of your calcium requirements, because currently you're getting about 1/3 of your calcium requirements, because that was the key issue, rather than the actual dairy product group as a whole, because some of those essential vitamins, other than calcium, you're meeting them from your vegetable serves and other products. But the key thing was the calcium, the levels were only 1/3 of your requirements, and so that therefore you're not got sufficient calcium for your body's needs. So you don't have to drink cow's milk. You could think about increasing your almond milk. Have you tried drinking almond milk as a glass or other than in your coffee?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I guess I could try that.
Yeah, and I think with anything when we try to make a change, don't think about, I must drink this whole glass today. Let's try and drink as much as you can so you can get up to that one glass. Maybe set a goal for yourself. Well, today I'll drink a quarter a glass of it. If I like it, I might push on and have a half a glass. So that by the end of the week, we could get to a whole glass of that almond milk. And another thing too is you like having that banana. That banana could be mushed up in a smoothie and put in with the almond milk to give it another sort of layer of flavour.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Like hide the taste of it a bit more.
Yeah, and there are, because you don't have any other additives as well, there are other things, and you do need to eat more fruit. There are other fruit options that you could add in there if you didn't like if you wanted to keep your banana separate and you didn't like it in the almond milk, you could say get some raspberries or something like that. Some of the berries have got a nice strong flavour of their own that could overpower any difference between the almond milk flavour and that. And also I've noticed that almond milk itself comes in a variety of flavours themselves. There's not just the plain one, there are vanilla and chocolate ones as well as,
I didn't know that.
and there's sweetened ones and unsweetened. That's one thing I didn't ask you, is what type of almond milk you were drinking, because there are added sugar types as well.
Right.
The only thing with the almond milk is that it has a little bit less calcium in it compared to cow's milk, but it is has less energy content. So that's good. You decided you're going to give that a try.
I'll make the smoothies. I think.
Because I get the impression that although that you might be a person who's not a big breakfast eater, is that when you do your physical?
I'm normally not hungry in the morning.
Mornings, and it's a little bit slow and it builds throughout the day. That's what's happening. Okay. There's another alternative too, because that would equate to one serve. Another alternative is that I noticed that you don't have anything at afternoon tea. At that afternoon tea time, have you ever had yogurt?
I have in the past. But I didn't really like it.
Okay.
I just didn't like the taste of it.
And was that just that one type of yogurt? Because there is a wide range of yogurts. Because you have your Greek yogurts, your plain ones. Oh, sorry.
I just had vanilla.
You just had vanilla, and was that a full fat one or a reduced fat?
Reduced fat.
Yeah. Some people struggle with the reduced fat. They'll have like a little tarty taste to it. And did it have anything else in it? Because sometimes when you add, you can get yogurts that have the little mixed nuts you can flip into them, or fruits that you can flip into those to give them another flavour and some texture. Because sometimes that mouthfeel of the yogurt is another area where people struggle.
I was just worried about the amount of sugar that's in them.
Yes, that's true. A lot of people find it very difficult to find a low sugar content yogurt. You have a little, because of your high energy expenditure, on those days where those 4 days where you work out, you have a little bit of leeway. And that's one of the reasons why you've been able to maintain a stable weight, is that some days you tend to, when you're not exercising, you may be a little bit over what your body's requirements are, depending on how sedentary you are during that day. But over the week, you are doing expending sufficient energy to maintain that weight.
Okay.
But If you're concerned about the yogurt, there is like the cheese alternative. Have you tried eating cheeses?
I have eaten cheese in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like feta.
Oh, yeah.
So I could maybe eat that
Yeah.
again.
And you know those type of things, they go good with crunchy raw vegetables.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know, you can buy them. I know, like, if for a single person who's shopping for themselves, you don't want to have a lot of excess products around. You can buy small amounts of those already cut up. They're a little bit more dearer, but you don't get as much wastage. And they have those kind of, they call them grudettes, of little bits of carrot or celery and that you can have as like a dip crunch into that feta. Yeah. So is that something you think you might do?
Yeah, I think I'll try that.
You'd like that alternative? So, because that's all you would need to do to be able to get your calcium requirements, is to increase your serves of dairy to 2 a day. And because we're choosing dairy products, you're getting your calcium, a high amount of calcium within them. Because if you were to try a vegetable calcium product, you'd have to have maybe 5 cups of broccoli oil to get that same equivalent in your glass of milk.
Okay.
Yeah. Hence the reason we're pushing down that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we'll just end it at that stage today, and we'll just conclude that you're going to give it a try, drinking a glass of almond milk a day, and you know that you don't have to meet that requirement straight away. You could work your way up to that, and that in the afternoon you're going to try having some feta, some cheese, maybe feta, and some crudettes. And that'll meet not only your calcium requirements in your dairy products, but also that could add to your vegetable serves as well. So it's a win situation.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Em. You got any questions?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your help.
Don't forget this. I'll give you this other pamphlet to take away with you, and that outlines what is a serving size, because we didn't have time today to talk about, you know, what equates to 1 serve. So rather than inundate you with a lot of information, I've given you this brochure to take away. And it is this one we talked about was the dairy products, and this is where you'll find what equates to 1 serve. Is that 1 cup of milk, or you can have your 2 slices of cheese.
Okay.
Or,
2 slices.
Okay.
All right. Great.
Thank